As some of you may have seen, I have done one other video before, taking you on a little tour around Oxford, but I thought that it was about time now to get going with YouTube properly. With the start of term upon us, application season, the next few months are super busy in the world of Oxford University. So for video number 1, I wanted to start by giving you a bit of an overview into how that Oxford Girl came about and what exactly it is. And I'll definitely go into more details on some of these topics I'm discussing today in future videos, but this is just a bit of a summary to give you an insight into TOG, or that Oxford Girl. So, how did that Oxford Girl initially come about? Well, it was a little bit of a weird story, really. I first visited Oxford on a day out with my mum and dad when I was 10 years old. And we just went on a day out shopping to the city and happened to stumble across a sign outside Balliol College, which said that the public could go and look around. And if you've been to the city, you may have seen these signs. Some colleges charge a little bit of money to go and walk around, others are free, although worth knowing for prospective applicants, you can always go in for free. Anyway, this particular day, we went into Balliol College and I walked into the quad and was just absolutely amazed by what I saw. And I turned around to my mum and dad and said, "I'm going here," to which they laughed, but we all believed. And whatever it was at that really young age, I made up my mind that I wanted to go to Oxford University. And it was a goal that I held on to for the next few years, despite things in my life going very wrong. Unfortunately, aged 11, I started to become very seriously ill. And from the age of 11 to 18, I hardly went to school. I was regularly admitted to hospital with bouts of pneumonia and underwent major abdominal surgery. I was at a state school. I was told not to bother taking my GCSEs and certainly not to bother applying to university, let alone Oxford. But I very much held on to my dream. And whatever it was, that 10-year-old belief stayed with me, along with a lot of hard work, teaching myself from hospital and from home. And everyone was amazed when I then went on to be offered a place to read English literature and language at Jesus College. And let me tell you, all the hard work was worth it, because it was no doubt the, hands down, best experience of my life. And as many of you know, I love Oxford, everything about the university, and I believe that it really is a love which lasts a lifetime. Sadly though, things weren't so easy when I arrived at Jesus. I was still extremely unwell. I was missing large bouts of time of each term in and out of hospital. And it was in my second year that things really hit rock bottom. I had missed 6 weeks out of an 8-week Oxford term, which doesn't leave much time for all that work that you've got to do. It's a highly pressured environment, and the university was suggesting that I took a year out to focus on getting better. Now my problem was I wasn't getting better. I was only getting worse. I kept going into hospital and being given IV antibiotics, but they just weren't as effective as they once had been. And I was told that every test had been done and the doctors could no longer keep looking for the cause. So whatever it was ultimately going to kill me. That was obviously a real low point during my Oxford journey. But during one of these admissions, a fluke blood test was carried out by a junior doctor. And that blood test led to me finding out that I'd been living with 13 years of undiagnosed active tuberculosis, which was slowly killing me over time. I was then told that in my 3rd year of university, I would need to start on 9 months of tuberculosis treatment. However, when I started on the treatment, I immediately went into anaphylactic shock, which meant they could no longer use that treatment to treat my TB. So I now had a case of, we know you've got TB, we know we need to treat it, but the treatment, the only treatment we really use, you can't take. Thankfully, after months of medical research, a professor that I was under came up with a new combination of drugs. And in my final year at Oxford, I started on 18 months of life-saving chemotherapy treatment for multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. And I got better, which was absolutely incredible. But when I graduated, I couldn't go and get a full-time, normal job like all of my friends, as I was still on the chemotherapy treatment. Like many of you guys, I was always really motivated, really ambitious, really determined, and wasn't happy to just sit around leaving that big gap on my CV, which I was certain employers would notice. So I asked myself, what am I good at? And that was writing. And what do I know about? That was Oxford University. I remember thinking how much I would have benefited from a free insight into both the application process and student life, and how much my own personal journey had taught me about overcoming barriers and navigating the complex application process to get into Oxford. At the time, there were just no free resources out there, so I thought, what I'll do is set up a blog and Instagram detailing this mysterious life behind the college walls. So that's what I did, and that Oxford girl was born. And it very much started off as just a little blog on Instagram with me talking about my experience of being there, my experience of applying, although actually I never told my personal story until much later. I soon realised when I was doing this that in order for this resource to remain effective, it needed to be written by current students and reflect a diverse range of the student body. So that inspired the That Oxford Girl Student Ambassador Scheme. And this has really grown. We now have a team of over 100 students at colleges and halls around Oxford Uni who write voluntarily for the blog. And these are the blog posts that you guys are saying are helping you so much to navigate that application process. We are overwhelmed by the response. We get messages day by day saying how much they've supported you, how you've gone on to be offered places, how you've had interviews, how you've even considered applying in the first place. And for me, if our posts get one of you to even consider Oxford as an option that wouldn't have done before, then it's working. And the feedback will suggest that it's so. And alongside that, I've got plans to continue this YouTube channel to really answer the questions that you guys keep sending in. So we'll be covering everything from how to write a personal statement, how to navigate the entrance exams, work submissions, interviews, hopefully getting the student ambassadors involved to give you a really wide variety of perspectives on all of those things, and also, of course, an overview of Oxford life. I think there could be some good vlogging around the city. So stay tuned, subscribe, and I very much look forward to chatting to you in the next video.